It's Ray Pastels here, and in this video I'm going to talk you through how you can install your Google Analytics tag in an alternate method if you don't want to use the Google and YouTube app. And also we're going to explore how you install Google Tag Manager. So for starters, we obviously need to go to the admin section of our Shopify store. And then what we're looking for is online store. So we would look up online store here if we couldn't see it on the sidebar. And then we want to go into the theme section, okay? This section here. We want to look for our current theme. So that's the theme that we're going to use on our live environment. And then you'll notice there are 3 dots here, okay? Once we go there, we're looking for edit code to get that section. We're then looking for something called theme.liquid. And for some themes, you may actually have multiple ones of this. So you might also have to add the code in there, depending on how your theme was designed. So theme.liquid will allow us to go to what we call the head tag. So if I'm installing Google Analytics here because I don't want to use the Google and YouTube app, then that's okay. I can do so within my theme. The important thing to remember is if I change themes or if I update themes, to always make sure that the code's still in there. Otherwise, obviously, the tag will be gone. So for Google Analytics, I'm going to go back to our little test one here. I'm going to go to View Tag Instructions. And what I want is that longer tag, okay? So I'm going to install this one here, which is known as the manual tag. And then I'm going to pop that into the head section. So make sure it's in the open bracket. So it's just after this one. I press paste, and then I'm going to press save. And that's how I install the Google tag, which is pretty much the Google Analytics tag. The other scenario is if we want to install Google Tag Manager. And this one is pretty common because we want to collect what we call custom events that Google Analytics and the Google and YouTube app doesn't provide. Okay, so let's pretend we've already got the Google and YouTube app and we want Google Analytics to allow us to have the events, but we don't want, for example, the page view tag because we're already getting that through the Google and YouTube app. The first step is to obviously go to Google Tag Manager. So if we don't already have an account, we want to go to Accounts, not Google Tags, and then we press Create Account. And I'll just call this one Eco Flowers Cleaning, our test one. I'm going to put Australia. Up to you if you want to share your data anonymously with Google. And then I can't even remember what we called it, but let's just call it that. And then we're going to select web because it's a website, okay? And then we're going to press create. We're then going to read all those terms and conditions and press yes. And then it's going to take us to the homepage for our tag manager. You'll see here we've got the head code that pops up. And so we want this head code and we're going to press copy, and it's going to be the same destination as we saw earlier in the video. So head tag, and just pop that in there and press save. Okay, so that's so Google Tag Manager can fire off from your Shopify store. If we go back to Google Tag Manager, you'll notice there's also another section called body, but for Shopify stores, we don't use that in the theme. We only use the head tag. Okay, so once we're in here, we want to add a new tag. So when we're adding a new tag, if we're adding the GA4 tag, we would obviously pop that into here, whatever name is useful for you. Select tag configuration, and we're going to choose either Google Analytics or Google Tag because it will literally be the same thing. And then we're putting in that shorten ID. So in here, we want to go back and we want to select this one here this time and pop that into the tag ID section. Now, if I want this GA4 tag in here so I can create events afterwards, but I don't want the page view tag, then simply I wouldn't select a trigger, okay? So I'd leave that empty and just press save. And I'm only using this so I know what my Google tag is for each of those events that I create, part of custom tagging. But if I'm using Google Tag Manager and I don't have the Google and YouTube app because I don't want it, then I would insert a trigger which is all pages, So essentially, every time a page view happens, it's going to fire off and send that data to Google Tag Manager and to Google Analytics. And then I would press save, okay? Once I press save, I can then preview it and test it using the Google Tag Assist to make sure that it works. And then once I'm happy, I can press submit. Okay, so that's the few variations and ways you can install Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics, depending on what scenario, within your Shopify store. Now, one of the things that custom tagging used to do as well is we used to be able to use the thank you page as a way to get around the loophole that Shopify Plus accounts only get access to the checkout page. So basically, what I'm doing here, you would have a checkout page where you could insert code. You can only do that with Shopify Plus. Now, what Shopify is essentially doing is they're trying to also get rid of that thank you page loophole and removing that so that there are not all these random scripts that are firing off. And it's also a security kind of thing. So if for some reason at an advanced level you want to, install a custom code, then you would need to use custom pixels, which you can find in the settings section. So if we go into here and go to settings and go to customer events, in here you'll notice first it tells you to explore what apps are available, so explore that first. But if there's no app, then you would set up a custom pixel and you would click that, name it, so GTM, I'm just going to call it test, add the pixel, and we would add it into here. So the important thing with this one is with custom pixels, it doesn't actually allow for HTML. So if I go back to my admin section and I try and install Google Tag Manager into here, because I want to set up custom tags, if I get rid of all this stuff, you'll notice that there's errors within my code. So what I need to do is I need to remove 4 sections. So for starters, I need to remove this section up here. I need to remove scripts. I then need to remove the other script. And then this little thing here, which is the explainer, okay? It will still work. It's just that within this tool, it doesn't allow us to have it in there. So you can see those errors have now gone, and I can press save and then connect that. This is only for advanced users. I just want to stress that want to create custom tags within the final result pages. So that's pretty much confirming your purchase. Remember, the Google and YouTube app already brings in that information, hence why it's the preferred method, and you can check out the other video for those steps on how to install it. Anyway, I hope that was useful for you. Thanks so much for tuning in.